Should I put on my prom dress? No, I'm not gonna put on my prom dress. Got that messy bun, got them big ears, got them big nose, and got that kitty shirt. Hey guys, it's Rainbow Rocks Beauty. This video is my prom look for prom 2015. I wanted to do like a super bombshell smoky eye but with glitter incorporated because glitter is like the best. This is 100% drugstore. Everything. All the way down to the brushes. Everything's drugstore. There's only one item in this whole video that's not drugstore, and that is my Makeup Geek buffer brush, because I just don't really know of a good drugstore like foundation brush. So that's the only thing that isn't drugstore. Everything else is drugstore, okay? If you want to see how to get this look, then just keep watching and don't forget to subscribe. So before you do anything else, you're going to want to pluck your eyebrows. When you have just hairs that are like sitting there looking ugly and then you cover them with concealer or eyeshadow, it can just make the look a lot more cheap and not as good. And so I just pretty much over pluck them until there's nothing left. But prom would be an awesome day for you to go get your eyebrows waxed, because it's prom and it's basically like a spa day right up until you actually go to prom. At least for me it was. So if you do get your eyebrows waxed, or you need to get your eyebrows waxed, then go get them waxed. Or just pluck if you're used to doing that, because that's what I do. And then I'm going to grab the NYX Eyebrow Gel in the color Black, which is a drugstore product, but it is highly pigmented and stays put. So like once it sets, it sets. Like you won't really be able to blend it at all. And so I just take this angled brush, which is like the best angled brush ever from Essence Cosmetics, and I just pretty much do my normal black eyebrow routine. I carve out underneath. I make them super arched because especially for a smoky eye like this, you're going to want bold enough brows to go with it. So I carve out the bottom and then I create my own arch because I pluck mine off because I'm crazy like that. And I just create that arch on the top as well. And I make the top a little bit more, I guess, like rounded out than I do the bottom, because I like that look, that like carved out Instagram brow, super bold, fierce look. And then I just fill in the outer corners, and I just pick up the product, kind of a lot of it, and I literally just pack it in there because it's not really a product that you can blend out. Like it just stays put. Like once it's on your face, it hardens and dries right there. So you just got to keep putting more on basically. However, there will be some on your brush that like hasn't hardened on yet. So as you get closer to the inner corner, you're going to want to like pack that on a little bit lighter handed, if that makes sense. And then I'm going to go into my NYX Brow Cake Powder, which is in black and gray, and there is a black and a gray. And it comes with a little spoolie that I'm going to kind of use to kind of disperse the product as much as I can. And then it comes with like a little angled brush thing, and I'm going to take some of the black powder first and build up from the bottom of the inside, and then take some of the gray powder and build up the top of the inside, and then just run all of that through and fill in any sparse areas. And this is going to create that ombre effect and look really, really good. And then just brush through it again with the spoolie. And then I'm going to grab my concealer. You guys know it's my favorite drugstore concealer, or concealer at all. It's the Maybelline Fit Me concealer, and I use the shade Fair. And I just use the wand that comes in it, and I carve out the bottom of that brow. But make sure when you use the wand that you wipe it off like inside the concealer tube, so that there isn't like a ton of product gooped up on top of there. And then just carve out the bottom of the brow, and then just want to carve out the top too, perfect that arch. And I always use the wand to drag it up and downward, so that when I go to blend it, I'm not risking like getting any on there, if that makes sense, because I can just blend around it but not get too close when I blend. And so this is the Real Techniques buffing brush, and I use that to blend it in there. And it's a concealer blending brush, which is, it's dense and synthetic, which is really nice for concealer because it will blend it without soaking up too much. And then I just take this Covergirl Lashblast Fusion mascara, and that's what I use to darken my brow hairs, and just run it through and bring them up and keep them in place. And as you can see here, I got a little bit on my skin, but if you just let that dry and then wipe it off with a Q-tip, you'll be fine. And then I'm just going to conceal the inside of my eyes and my under eyes a little bit. And what I do for this is start on the inner corner and the outer corners of my eyes, because that's where I have a lot of purpleness and redness. and I just put some there and then kind of drag it out a little bit, and then I grab that Real Techniques buffer brush again and I just blend all of that out. I really mainly just use like tapping motions on it for this. With cream products, tapping motions work better because then you're picking up some on the brush and you can move it somewhere else, and that's how you can kind of blend it out. I do wipe a little bit just to move the product around more and get it on my eyes so I can conceal all of that redness. So yeah. And then for priming my eyes, I'm actually going to take this Ulta Extreme Wear eyeshadow primer, and I'm just going to put that all over my eyelid and blend it out with my finger. And I really like using these type of primers for smoky eyes. It's not like a cream, I don't even know how to describe these. It's like the Urban Decay Primer Potion. It's like not a concealer or like a MAC paint pot. It's just like this gel liquidy type thing that you can put on, and it sets and it doesn't crease, and you can just melt it in with the warmth of your fingers, and I think it's really good for making black eyeshadow look blacker. And then for our transition shade, we're going to use NYX HD Blush in Taupe, which you've seen me use for contouring, but we're actually going to use it for eye contouring today. And I'm going to take the Sonia Kashuk, I believe this is the 116, and I'm just going to start placing that in the crease and blending it out with this Makeup Academy small crease brush. Basically, I round out my eyes by bringing it up further the closer I get to the inside of my brow. That's just because of my eye shape. That's just how I prefer it, and that's just what I do. If you have more round eyes, you don't need to do this. Just blend it right into your crease. I just barely have a crease. I switch off with these two brushes and just blend it in there. And then I'm going to take my L'Oreal Infallible eyeshadow in the shade Smoky Grey, and with that Makeup Academy brush again, I'm just going to start deepening the crease. This is like our second transition shade, and this is just going to create a better gradient to the black from NYX HD Blush in Taupe because it's a matte gray eyeshadow. And with this eyeshadow, you really just want to keep on blending because it is almost a cream consistency when it's in the pot. So you're going to dip the brush into it and it's going to go on really strong in one place. So it's just going to take a lot of windshield wiper motions and circular motions to get it really diffused into that blush. And again, with the shape, I'm just really kind of rounding out my eye because I have hooded lids, and so my eyes are a little bit more I guess almond shaped, and so I really just want focus on getting into that orbital bone more than I do the crease, which basically means blending it higher, closer to the inner corner of my brow, and then down further as I get further out on my eye. And then I'm going to take this NYX Sex Bomb palette, and the color is black, and I'm going to take this I believe this is a small crease blending brush or something, which is really nice because it has a flat side and just like the regular side, so it's easy for like packing and blending. And I just place that in the crease, same exact shape as the gray, just a little bit lower though, and I just start like pushing that in there and really making sure that the shape is right, and making sure that it doesn't like go up too far in any place, and making sure that it's just nice and rounded out. And then you can turn the brush on its side and actually blend it out a little bit, which is really nice. That's what's really nice about this brush. But then I am going to grab the Makeup Academy brush one more time and blend it out that way because it still has a little bit of gray left on it and it's a little bit more fluffy. This is just altogether like an amazing brush for precise blending. It's actually probably my favorite brush that I own in my entire collection of brushes. You're going to just want to blend at the black and blend it into the gray so that you have a really good gradient there. And it's just a matter of using circular motions and just really keeping at it and blending and blending and blending until it's just, there's like, you can't see any line where anything was placed, if that makes sense. Just blend and blend and blend and blend and blend. So really quickly, a good trick that you can do, especially with black, since it kind of can blend out choppily, is take the brush that you use to blend out your concealer, because it's got a little bit left on it, and just tap at the edges of like where you have been blending to diffuse everything, and it'll really just make everything look super clean. Then I'm going to take my NYX Jumbo pencil in Black Bean, which is like a cream eye jumbo pencil type product, and I'm just going to start drawing that onto my lid underneath the black. And it's going to look really bad for a second, and that's totally 100% okay, but just make sure you fill all the way from really tightly to the lash line up to where your black is that you blended. And you might need to blend it out with your fingers up where it meets the black just a little bit, which is totally cool. But make sure you work really quickly right now because we're going to go straight in with the glitter. This is Hard Candy Glitter in Lock and Key, which comes with two colors, and I'm using the goldish, silverish one. And then I'm just going to take my finger and I'm just going to pack that all over the jumbo pencil, really. It's going to kind of be like our glitter adhesive. And the cool thing about using your finger is that you can just move it all around and really get it so that it's not packed to a harsh line, if that makes sense. Like, you want some to be, you know, dispersed around and mostly for it to be concentrated in the center, if that makes sense. And it's really easy to do this with your finger. But anyways, just keep packing it on in the center until it's like stuck to that entire area of black and the center is really like full coverage with the glitter, and then you can just move it around with your finger a little bit. And then I'm going to grab the black eyeshadow again on the same e.l.f. crease brush, and you're just going to pack it on over the glitter. It's not going to cover the glitter, it's just going to make it so that where you put that pencil doesn't crease, and so that your whole lid is really smoky and dark and black. So just pat all of that black eyeshadow on there like it's nobody's business. If you want, you can also move that up into the crease, as long as you're willing to blend it out later. I don't know why you wouldn't be. I don't even know why I would say that. But yeah, just bring it up into the black as you did before. Then you can take your small crease brush once again. I didn't take any excess product. I don't think you need any because you already have a gradient going, and just blend at the edges of that until everything's nice and smoky again. You might have to pack on more black in places. I had to because it was a little patchy. That's totally cool. Just pack and blend until everything looks solid. And then for eyeliner, I'm going to take my favorite gel liner on the market, actually, which is the Maybelline gel liner in Blackest Black. And I am literally just going to use the same Essence Cosmetic angled brush, and I'm just going to create a wing on my outer corner and just do my wing totally normally like you've seen me do before. And I'm just going to bring it inward, fill it in, and then tightline my lash line and tightline my waterline. And then it's time for mascara. I'm going to use my L'Oreal Telescopic in Carbon Black, which is my favorite because you can use the small wand to get really close to the base of the lashes and really just coat all of the lashes, which for me, especially since I'm going to be gluing my eyelashes like underneath, like to my waterline, it's really important that you have mascara on all of those eyelashes so that the lashes actually have something to stick to. And then these are just dollar store lashes. Use any lashes you like. Ardell Wispies are amazing. Ardell 206s are some really big ones that I like. There's tons of drugstore lashes you can use. The Kiss #1s, they're all amazing. I only use exclusively drugstore lashes, actually. But I really like these dollar store lashes because they're spiky and they're good. No judgment. Oh yeah, I'm just going to take a Q-tip with some moisturizer on it and kind of clean up any glitter that fell, any black eyeshadow that fell. I'm going to clean up that inner corner because it always like goops up there because I have some tears there. And I'm going to clean up my eyeliner underneath and make that wing super sharp and just do some general, housekeeping. And then I'm going to take two primers, Rimmel Lasting Finish Primer and Nyx Pore Filler. First, I'm going to put the Pore Filler in the places where my foundation or whatever else can crease, which is around my nose, around my lips, and definitely in my forehead lines, because that happens to me all the time. And it's just going to fill in those areas and make them more matte. And then I'm going to put the Lasting Finish Primer all over the face as kind of like a nice sticky adhesive / base for the foundation to stick to. And then I'm going to put concealer in some of my problem areas, little pimples, whatnot, and blend it out with my Real Techniques buffer brush yet again. And I'm not going to worry about blending it out too perfectly. I just want to give a little bit of extra coverage to those little, blemishes because it is prom after all. And then I'm going to take my L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Foundation. Give me a second and I'll talk about it. But first I'm just going to dot this all over my face, pretty much little dots of it all over the place. That's all I can really say. Like, how do I explain this? I'm just putting dots all over my face. So yeah, I'm just going to use my finger to do that. And then I'm going to start buffing it in. With my Makeup Geek buffer brush. I'm so sorry. I don't know of a good foundation buffing brush. You can use a sponge. I just am really freaked out by how much product sponges absorb. It feels like a huge waste to me. So I prefer brushes. But anyways, I start buffing it in. I mostly use patting and downward motions. The downward motions keep it from catching on your little hairs on your face, the little peach fuzz. And I also use like dotting motions for the same reason that I told you with the concealer. It kind of picks up the product and moves it somewhere else, which is really good. So that's why I like patting. I always make sure to blend down into my chin and onto my neck and up into my hairline and onto my ears, just so that everything is one cohesive color. But anyways, about this foundation. Yes, it is like the most expensive drugstore foundation. It's $15, I believe. but it's amazing. It reminds me a lot of MAC's Studio Fix because like it smells like rose water like that one does, but it also like it's one of those foundations that when you apply, it has a really nice skin-like finish and doesn't have a lot of coverage in that first layer, but it's one that you can keep adding layers and the coverage is going to build up, but it's never going to look cakey and it's just going to keep looking like skin. And that's why it's so good, because it's going to stick to your face, it's going to stay, it's going to look natural, but you can really just keep building it. Like, I find that one layer is enough for me, but you can literally just put on 2 or 3 layers until like all your redness or all your acne is covered, and it will still look natural, which is why I really, really like it. So actually, like for a night out for like prom, what I do is I will put like another layer on everywhere on my face pretty much except like my forehead, because I feel like my forehead is pretty clear and it's pretty like monotone in color, monochromatic, I think that's the word. And so I put it pretty much everywhere but my forehead and just do one more layer, and it creates like just the perfect coverage for a night out. So if you're gonna buy a more expensive foundation, go for the $15 L'Oreal one. It is really, 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 really good. And just buff it in until everything's super diffused. Blend it onto your neck. Usually I put some on my hand and then dot it on my face, and whatever is excess on my hand I rub on my neck. I stole that from Jaclyn Hill. It is not my idea, but it's a great idea because, you know, if you have enough on your face, then just put it on your neck and make sure everything's super blended out and good. And then what I also do is I'll make like a super ugly double chin with my face. I will just like make sure to blend down onto that double chin because you don't want that like line where you can tell your foundation is, and doing it that way really makes it so that you can't see that line. And then I'm going to contour really quick, and I'm going to use the same NYX HD Blush in Taupe, and I'll have my contour video linked below, but I'm just going to use my Ecotools like little short brush set. It has 2 kind of like paddle-shaped face brushes, and I'm just going to use that to contour my cheekbones really heavily. I really want a strong, like mature-looking cheekbone contour. And then I'm just going to make sure I get the sides of my nose and my Cupid's bow and underneath my lips to create more volume in the lip area. And then I'm going to actually bronze too. I'm going to use my Essence Sun Club bronzer, which I forgot to take a picture of, but it's basically like a matte, not too orange, really just like tan bronzing color. It's really good for fair skin, and it smells like coconut. I absolutely love it. And I'm just going to use the other brush in that Ecotools short little face brush set. And I'm just going to use that, and I'm going to first blend around the cheekbones, sort of like I would with blush, but I am going to get on top of that cheekbone contour and warm it up a little bit, and just blend, not taking too much product. And this color is what I'm going to bring up to my forehead and around to my temples, because that's kind of the area where you'd want to look more bronzed than anything else. And so I just bring it up there and I blend it up into my forehead, and then I actually blend a little bit underneath my chin too, and just to even everything out and make, you know, the skin look a little bit more glowing and tan. Next, I will conceal my under eyes using my same concealer, and I'm going to make sure to carve out that eyeliner too, so it's really perfect. But what I'm really focusing on here is getting rid of like the purple that's really close to underneath my eye, and so basically I carve everything out and then I blend it down with the wand. And then I'm also going to put like a tiny bit on the bridge of my nose just to highlight it, just a tiny bit. And then I'm going to take this Real Techniques, I think it's called the buffing brush. It comes in the set of the orange ones, and it's perfect for blending out concealer because it makes it look really, really, really natural just with how fluffy it is. And so I'm just going to blend out underneath the eyes and just make sure it kind of diffuses into the contour slash bronzer a little bit. And then to get into the more precise places, like right where the eyeliner is or right where it meets the inner corner, I'm going to take that same purple buffing brush from earlier just so that I don't cover anything up and I can get a little bit more precisely with that smaller brush. And then I'm going to take this other short Ecotools brush just with some setting powder. It doesn't matter which one you use. There's plenty of good drugstore ones. I use the Essence Cosmetics white matte one. And I'm just going to set, and I'm going to make sure to move back and forth as I set under there. That's really what's going to keep it from creasing, is moving back and forth with that brush. And then next I'm going to take the black eyeshadow again with that e.l.f. crease brush, and I'm just going to start carving out underneath my eye with black eyeshadow. I'm making sure to get really, really close to the lashes. Don't worry about blending it like down just yet. Just make sure to get really close to those lashes so that you can get really, really dark line down there. And then at that point, I'm going to grab that Makeup Academy brush again, and I'm going to skip the Smoky Grey color from L'Oreal. I'm just going to go in with NYX HD Blush and Taupe because it's a little bit easier to blend on the lower lash line, so we don't need to worry about the gradient as much. And I'm just going to really just move back and forth and blend at that black. It's really easy to blend on the lower lash line. All you have to do is just move back and forth with a really light hand and whatever color you're using, and yes. And then I'm going to take Black Bean again, and I'm going to fill up the waterline, and I'm going to make sure to really get between those lashes so all we see is black down there. And then I'm just going to blend one more time because that can sometimes make it look a little bit patchy, but really it doesn't. And then I'm going to take NYX Gumdrop eyeshadow, which is a really, really light pink with some sparkle to it. And I'm going to use that as my inner corner highlight and as my brow bone highlight. There's 1,000,001 highlight shades at the drugstore. Use whatever you prefer. I just like the pinker tone ones because I'm a pinker tone. And then I'm going to apply my bottom mascara, which is L'Oreal Telescopic again. And I'm going to make sure to move back and forth to really create volume with those lashes and make them look just as thick as the fake ones on top. And then I'm going to take this Covergirl blush. I don't remember what it's called, but it's super pretty, nice peachy pink for fair skin. And just on my Ecotools round powder brush, I'm going to buff that against the edge of my contour. And then I'm going to highlight using my Physicians Formula Eyebrightener and Natural Eyelight, which you've seen me use a million times. And I'm going to use this paddled e.l.f. blush brush and apply that to the top of my cheekbone and all over the center of my forehead. And then I'm going to use my finger to apply it to the tip of my nose. And then I'm going to take this Essence lip liner in the Nude, which is just literally a rosy lip color, just the natural lip color. And I'm just going to line my lips with this. And on the bottom, I keep it pretty much exactly the shape of my natural bottom lip. But then when I get to the top is when I overdraw the Cupid's bow and make it really round. And then connect it to my natural lip on the side, if you can tell. So that really the only place it's overdrawn is the center, to make my lips look a little bit more like perky and pouty and full. And then the lip product I'm going to use, I wanted to use something matte and really easy to apply with my Nude. And so I'm going to take this Rimmel Matte Lip Velvet in the color Apollo, which is just a warm nude color. And I'm just going to apply that in the center of the lip liner. And the cool thing is, it's really just going to blend for you since the lip liner is basically the natural lip color. So all you have to do is really apply it, like pat it in a few times with your lips, and then you're done. And that's my prom look for 2015. I'll see you next time.